was between 4 and 5 a.m. when 67-year-old Jim Curley Prokopovits stepped out of his old farmhouse just outside Green Bay, Wisconsin. It was early Friday morning, April 25, 2013. With a full moon lighting the sky, Curley climbed into his truck, ready to start his shift at the Georgia Pacific paper mill, a routine he'd followed for years. But inside the house, something was wrong. Someone was missing. Someone who was always there. Someone who should have been there. Curley knew she was gone, yet he didn't make a big deal out of it. Curley's wife, Victoria, Vicky to her friends, was missing. Vicky was a mother to 2 daughters, Marcia and Stacy, along with her son Wesley. 8 years younger than Curley, Vicky was his second wife. The couple had married in 1989. Over the years, Vicky had worked as a secretary, a waitress, and in a nursing home. More recently, she'd spent most of her time at home. She no longer drove and had been dealing with some health issues. Vicky also struggled with depression, even attempting to take her own life twice, though her last attempt had been nearly a decade ago. Since then, she'd remained actively involved with her family. That chilly morning, Curley woke up and didn't see her in the house. He checked the rooms, then searched the old barn on their property, but there was no sign of her. Back inside, he found her purse still there, with her ID, cell phone, and money untouched. Her cigarettes were there too, along with her dentures, which she hadn't put in before leaving.
To your best recollection, where in the house was the last time you physically saw her?
Right here in the kitchen when I walked into the bedroom.
And that was at 8:39.
About 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Do exactly what you did.
And I walked over here and I said, "Honey!"
Okay.
She didn't answer.
Okay, then go
Then I went here, went down in the basement.
Go ahead.
Thought she was down here. Turned the light on. Down the steps. "Honey!"
Okay.
I walked over here, I think it was. I don't remember. It was here first. Look. I walked over here, opened this door. It wasn't open. I looked at here.
Okay.
Did something. Nothing here.
Okay, then what happened? And Jim, do you remember, if she's not answering to your yells, do you remember why it is that you felt the importance to look in every spot?
Because she tried to kill herself down here in the basement once. That's why.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Yep. So you were looking.
I found her in that room.
Okay. So you were looking to see if she was in distress.
Yes, I was.
Okay. That's why we're asking.
That's what I was looking for. I thought, if she tried something, maybe I could find her.
Curley recalled seeing her the night before, around 10 p.m., when he had gone to bed. Nothing had seemed unusual. Earlier that evening, they'd had dinner with Wesley. That afternoon, Curley had taken Vicky to a routine doctor's appointment. They'd even had a small disagreement about a tablecloth that day, but it was nothing serious, just a typical married couple's quarrel. But now, on this cold Friday morning, Vicky was gone. No note, no mention of going out for a walk, no explanation at all. Still, Curley left for work. He didn't call the police. He didn't notify her daughters or reach out to anyone. He said he did drive past a nearby Shell gas station where Vicky sometimes went, but when he didn't see her there, he continued on his way. Records later showed that Curley clocked in at the mill's gate number 17 at exactly 5:31 a.m. He spent the day coordinating trucks that hauled away wood pulp waste and ash from the factory's many boilers. By 12:35 p.m., he clocked out and headed home. It was a little after 1 p.m. when Curley finally called the Brown County Sheriff's Office to report that Vicky was missing. He told officers that she had probably gone off and killed herself. He explained that she'd attempted it before and had warned her family that if she ever tried again, no one would find her. Curley also called her children, letting them know that their mother was missing. Search parties spread out across the area. Local law enforcement used every resource they had and volunteers joined in to help. Sonar units scanned lakes and waterways. Scent dogs combed the land near the family's property, but there was nothing, not a single trace of Vicky. Investigators even reached out to Interpol and the TSA to stay alert for any sign of her, but it was no use. Rewards were offered to anyone who could provide helpful leads. Everyone seemed determined to find Vicky. Everyone except Curley Prokopovits. According to his family, Curley stayed home on the couch, drinking beer. He showed no interest in joining the search. Instead, he told others that Vicky was gone for good, that she'd made sure no one would ever find her.
I'm talking about perfect strangers, like the search parties. And what they say is that it strikes them as odd. They watch you mowing your lawn while these complete strangers to you and Vicky take their time out of their day to search for your wife.
I understand that. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live my life. If people don't like it, they can move on. I'm not one to sit and dwell on a problem.
Months turned into years, and still Vicky remained missing. About 2 months after her disappearance, Curley gathered his stepchildren, people he'd once been close to, and told them he'd started seeing someone else. Her name was Kathy Friday, a woman he'd run into at a casino. According to Curley, they hadn't seen each other in 30 years, but now they were in a relationship. If Vicky's disappearance seemed suspicious before, this revelation only made things worse. Frustrated with the lack of answers, the family hired a private investigator named Larry Warwick to dig deeper. As part of his investigation, Warwick sat down with Curley to question him about what happened the morning Vicky disappeared.
I want you to pretend that I don't know anything about this, okay? You know what I mean?
All right.
Okay, so what do you think happened?
I don't know. I do know she told Stacy, next time I do it, nobody's gonna fight.
So you remember having an argument with her in the truck on the way home?
No.
So you know the police are looking at you.
Oh, I know they are.
Did you do anything to Vicky?
No, I didn't. I did not do nothing to that woman's son, but I loved her.
Okay. I don't mean to upset you. But I gotta ask the question.
I know. I know they think I did something to her. The only thing I could have done different was lock her up in a rubber room to keep her from hurting herself.
You have a relationship with her now.
Yes, I do.
So after you married Vicky, you never had an intimate relationship with her?
No, I call her once every 2 years, 3 years.
It didn't take long for Curley's lies to start unraveling. His story about meeting Kathy Friday by chance after 30 years completely contradicted what he'd previously told police and his stepchildren. This was the first crack in the solid wall of deception he'd built around himself. With no sign of Vicky anywhere, it became clearer that something tragic had happened to her. The longer time passed without a body being found, the more unlikely it seemed that she'd simply taken her own life. Investigators Roman Ehrenstein, a homicide detective with the Brown County Sheriff's Office, and Special Agent Jay Jurgis from the Wisconsin Department of Justice returned to question Curley again. By then, 3 years had passed since Vicky's disappearance.
Okay, so it was at the
3.5 years ago, you're asking me where I sat at a kitchen table? My God, man. And you're asking me what kind of... Do you pay attention to what your wife wears every time she gets dressed? If you do, you're a good man, but...
No, the simple answer to that, Jim, is I don't. However,
Yeah, I know you don't. But say, God forbid, something would happen to your wife. Would you be able to tell everybody what she had on? Or what she wore? If you guys think I did something, arrest me and haul me in. Because I didn't.
Curley agreed to take investigators on the route he'd claimed to have searched for Vicky that morning. They climbed into Curley's truck as he drove them past the barn on his property and down the road.
Walked around in here a little bit, didn't see her, hollering all the time. That's when I jumped in the truck. Open, I find her shut it up. I drove by here, I didn't go in. Window, see if anybody was there, didn't see anybody, there was no cars here, no nothing.
gotcha. Okay.
Went around.
Detective Ehrenstein later reviewed security camera footage from the Shell station Curley claimed to have checked that morning. There was no sign of Vicky. Even worse, there was no sign of Curley's truck either. 3 days later, investigators returned with a search warrant, ready to confront Curley about his changing story. Detectives knew they were closing in. Using details from Curley's own account and insights from the private investigator, they started piecing together what might have really happened to Vicky. But with no body, they'd need solid evidence to prove foul play. They questioned if Curley had confided in anyone. Did he have a motive? Did he have the means not only to kill Vicky but to hide her body so well that no trace of her was ever found? The investigation would take years. First, they looked at Wesley, Vicky's son, who had been living at the house at the time of her disappearance. Wesley had been cooperative from the start, and his alibi, spending the night with friends, checked out completely. Curley's co-workers also revealed some chilling information. Curley had once mentioned that if a body ever fell into one of the factory's sludge ponds, it would dissolve quickly. Unfortunately, those sludge ponds were too dangerous for search teams to explore, making it impossible to confirm or deny his statement. The search warrant turned up several suspicious items from the Prokopovits house, a large number of sexually explicit photos, a chilling image of a man pointing a gun directly at the photographer, financial records, and a stack of computer hard drives. Blood spots were also found in the home, but they appeared too old or inconclusive to prove anything substantial. Still, Investigators felt more certain than ever that Curley had both the means and the opportunity to kill Vicky. But what about motive? Investigators discovered that Vicky's medical issues and the cost of her care had put a financial strain on the couple. With Vicky gone, Curley could escape those burdens and start a new life with Kathy. The supposed chance meeting with Kathy turned out to be a lie as well. Friends revealed that Curley and Kathy had been in touch for years, speaking on the phone, and even arranging to meet at a truck stop. Finally, investigators believed they had a motive. Curley wanted to end his troubled marriage and rekindle his old flame. One of Vicky's daughters even recalled Curley once admitting that if Kathy had been single 30 years ago, he would have married her instead of Vicky. Determined to bring Curley to justice, prosecutors launched a series of John Doe trials, similar to grand jury proceedings, to determine if there was enough evidence to press charges. 7 trials were held, with 21 witnesses providing testimony before a decision was made. In those trials, both Curley and Kathy claimed they had met by chance at the casino, but as witness after witness contradicted them, prosecutors charged both with perjury and obstruction of justice. Curley was also charged with Vicky's murder. Though no evidence connected Kathy to the crime itself, she and Curley were both arrested. Kathy was released on a $25,000 bail, forbidden from contacting Curley. He remained jailed under a $2 million bond at Brown County Jail. Detectives now had more information than before, and Curley knew it. The pressure mounted, especially when he realized Kathy was now facing legal trouble as well. Living together on Kathy's farm had tied them together.
Essentially been lying to Roman and I for a long time. Today you lied on the stand to the judge, the court, okay?
Is that accurate, Jim?
Yeah. Well, I lied about how we met and...
Did you know that lying to us was wrong and illegal?
Yeah, in a way. I mean,
Didn't feel good.
no, but...
That didn't happen, Jim. You know what I'm saying?
What didn't happen?
You weren't at that station.
I swear I went by the station and didn't see anybody or anything.
Well, you can see a certain amount of road with the cameras, though.
You swear to God I was by there. By that station.
It didn't happen, Joe. That didn't happen. Because video doesn't lie, Jim. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You need to tell us what the heck happened so that we can clear her and get her.
Honest to God, Jay, she had nothing to do with it.
Vicky's dead.
Yes.
She's not here.
She's not here. I don't know if she's dead. I don't.
She doesn't go poof.
I know
You were the last one to see her. You were the last one with her.
Don't.
You were the last one to hear her.
I don't know. If I knew, I'd tell you right now.
Oh.
I'd tell you right now because I don't want Kathy in trouble.
You don't want to be caught. You didn't want to be caught today on the stand.
And you lied.
All
right.
You don't want to be caught now.
Okay, I'll admit, I
lied.
killed her. There, I killed her. Kathy had nothing to do with it.
And the weight of it all seemed to break him. Curley confessed, or did he? Investigators knew he'd lied before. Was this his attempt to shield Kathy or another twisted deception? Realizing he'd damaged his own case, Curley tried to retract his confession.
I don't know where she is.
Tell me how you killed her. No,
I don't know how I killed her.
Tell me how you.
I didn't. So I can't tell you.
Hands? Did you
I can't tell you. I don't know.
Meanwhile, jailhouse informants revealed that Curley had told them authorities would never find Vicky's body. There'd be no blood or teeth to identify. Her dentures, curiously, had been left behind in the house. The mounting stress crushed Kathy. Caught sending messages through a third party, she violated her bail terms. Before facing the judge, Kathy tragically took her own life. On February 18, 2021, nearly 8 years after Vicky's disappearance, Curley stood trial. The prosecution painted him as a husband desperate to break free from his burdens, a man with the knowledge and resources to destroy any trace of his wife's body. The defense countered with Vicky's mental health struggles.
Next time, nobody will find me. Those are the words of Victoria Prokopovits. Those are the words that ring true in this case. Next time, you won't find me. You have sat through hours of testimony. You've listened to the state basically direct their witnesses to their answers. But no words ring more true than next time you won't find me. The state went through every day in their closing, every witness. Why? Because they didn't prove their case during their trial. The state is trying to convince you through emotion that my client is guilty. This is not a court of emotion. This is a court of law.
Claiming she could have vanished on her own. After 11 days of testimony and 24 hours of jury deliberation,
The record reflects the verdict has been received by the court. It is in proper form. It has been dated and signed by the foreperson who identified themselves. In the state of Wisconsin versus James M. Prokopovits, file 19 CF 716. As to the offense of first-degree intentional homicide, as charged in count 1 of the second amended information, we, the jury, find the defendant, James M. Prokopovits. The verdict has been marked guilty. As to the offense of obstructing an officer, as charged in count 2 of the second amended information, we, the jury, find the defendant, James M. Prokopovits, has been marked guilty.
Curley was found guilty. Justice, though long overdue, was finally served. Vicky's resting place remains a mystery, known only to Curley. On May 26, 2021, Curley faced sentencing. Victoria's daughters addressed the court.
I'm Vicky's oldest daughter. Your Honor, I submitted a statement to the court previously, but I'd like to add to that statement. I struggled with writing this and found it so difficult to put my thoughts and feelings on paper. I'm not sure where to begin or how to put words to the anguish that our family has endured for 8 years. I'll do the best that I can. Finding out that my mom was missing was devastating. Searching for her became my priority and consumed me through these 8 years. I'm continuously searching for my mom, even in my dreams. I struggle with sleeping through the night. I'm either restless because I can't shut my mind off or have nightmares. The dreams and nightmares have continued, but since the trial have changed. We're now searching for her remains. Or her remains have been found, but I can't seem to move beyond trying to figure out what happened to my mom. The emotional trauma that I've endured over such a long period of time has taken a physical toll on my body, causing physical pain and stress hives. I look back at photos before my mom was missing, and I think about the happiness that I once saw in my eyes that is now extinguished. I now refer to things as before my mom went missing and after my mom went missing. I've become the daughter of a missing woman, and it's not a title I want. Sitting through the trial and reliving the whole thing from the beginning has my emotions all over the place. I'm hurt and confused. Jim is our stepdad. He raised me since I was 12. I called him Dad. He walked me down the aisle at my wedding, and he was grandpa to my boys. Jim's lack of concern in the search for answers about my mom and his lack of compassion towards us is something I still don't understand. Family, friends, strangers, search and rescue, and law enforcement did everything that they could to try to find our mom and try to help in search efforts. Yet Jim was ready to just move on without searching, without needing to know what happened. I just don't understand his willingness to move on and to start a new life, and all the inconsistencies and lies that have been told. Jim sat across the table from us 2 months after my mom went missing and told us that if he had known that Kathy had gotten divorced, he would have never married my mom.
Giving him one last chance to speak.
You wish to comment, Mr. Prokopovits?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
He remained silent. For his wife's murder and the elaborate lies that followed, Curley will spend the rest of his life behind bars. This is the end of this story. Let us know if you like this story. Don't forget to subscribe and hit notification bell for future updates. Thanks for watching.